Finally, we are back. We've got new faces, we've got a new turbo engine, we've got new regulations, and of course we've got a new manufacturer. Aston Martin is joining the game, and thus welcome to the DTM season 2019. We're here at the Hockenheimring. As tradition has it, it's pouring with rain, but hey, I guess it's going to make it even more exciting. And indeed, this could be the most powerful DTM ever. So are you excited? I certainly am, and let's get started with the first qualifying of the season. Here's your commentator.
Thank you, Verena. Yes, are we excited? Not so, my goodness me. So many changes over the course of the winter season, and this is one of them. A brand new manufacturer, Aston Martin. Jake Dennis, great to see Jake Dennis in a DTM car. Former single-seater star who has built something of a career in driving for Aston Martin. And Ferdinand Habsburg, another one of those new drivers, one of the 5 rookies that we have in DTM for this year. He also in an Aston Martin Vantage DTM car, and a very big warm welcome to our motorsport and Aston Martin. Delighted to see them on the grid for DTM 2019. What else has changed? Well, as Verena has indicated, it could be the most powerful DTM ever with that new 2-litre turbo engine featuring something like 610 horsepower. We also have push to pass, a new changed rear wing and DRS, and of course a new starting procedure for the driver. Jonathan Aberdeen is another rookie into the DTM this year, formerly in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. Jonathan Aberdeen is driving for the WRT team in Audi. We also welcome Pietro Fittipaldi for the same team, WRT Audi, with that RS5 DTM. Now, as I mentioned, powered by that 2-litre turbo engine.
All right, session starts in 3 minutes. Session starts in 3 minutes.
And as always, across qualifying, we'll bring you as much team radio as we possibly can. We have new liveries across the cars as well, so it'll take us a bit of a time to get our eye in terms of who we can see in what car. This is the result of free practice 2. And it shook things up a bit. It had been a bit of an Audi fest in free practice 1, but in free practice 2, as you can see, Bruno Spengler topped the charts. P2 was Jake Dennis for our motorsport in the Aston Martin. Then it was Marco Wittmann and René Rast, and you can see the rest there. The driver that did not set a time critically for BMW was Philipp Eng, and BMW have had some issues with regards to their perhaps reliability over the tests that have been carried out prior to this, the first event of DTM 2019. We're delighted to be back. We're delighted to be back here at Hockenheim. I wish the weather had been fairer to us, and we're about to get qualifying underway to set the grid for the first race of 2019. As Verena has said, tradition here at Hockenheim, 4.574 kilometre circuit, 16 turns, 6 of them left-handers, 10 of them are right-handers. And there indeed is the number 25 car of Philipp Eng, which didn't have any running in free practice 2. Hopefully, overnight, the team have worked miracles, and BMW team RMR, which of course is that combination of both Bart Mampe and Stefan Reinheld, hopefully they've got that car back into a position where it will be good for qualifying today. So, alongside him is Timo Glock, and that's going to be really difficult. Always used to seeing Timo Glock in an all-yellow car. Returnee to the DTM is car number 3. Former DTM champion, Paul Di Resta, who was right in the championship chase last year, of course, but now with the R Motorsport Aston Martin Vantage DTM. A welcome back to Paul Di Resta, the focus on his face, as you can see. We are 40 seconds away from qualifying getting underway.
Okay.
And Team Radio, as I say, will bring you the critical parts. And great that Aston Martin are joining us here.
30 seconds until green light.
Another change this year is potentially race duration. Where previously it's always been 55 minutes plus 1 lap, we're now going by number of laps in the race, with the opportunity for extra time to be added potentially. So lots to get our teeth into for DTM during 2019. So the cars all lined up ready. And the green light is on, and they are released then for the first qualifying session of season 2019. DTM is go. Good number of spectators that have braved the hideous weather conditions to join us here for day one of this DTM weekend. There you can see the number 76 car of Jake Dennis. There, the number 47 machine of Joel Eriksson, a race winner last year. The number 31 car, of course, another one of the rookies. Joining BMW, Sheldon van der Linde. A warm welcome to the South African. Great to see him in the team. There's the Rennie Rast car, number 33. There is Robin Freins, a returnee with Audi AB Sportsline. And we're on board with Rennie Rast, who chased Gary Pavitt all the way to the championship last year. Of course, himself a former champion. Another one of the changes for DTM, as you can see there, just to the very center of your picture, it looks like a very low-placed rear-view mirror. It's not a mirror, it's actually a screen. The rear vision is given to the drivers by camera this year. They have cameras in the car, and they have a screen with which they can see what's going on behind them. So Rennie Rast then, as you can see, he's had 5 pole positions and is ready to go qualifying. Paul de Resta is about to be released from the garage now. And off down the pit lane, ready to get this qualifying session underway. Great onboard shot then of Paul de Resta at work in the new office for this year. This Aston Martin Vantage from R Motorsport. Dr. Florian Kamelger is the team principal of R Motorsport. And of course it was announced last year that Aston Martin would be joining the DTM grid, and whilst it was never guaranteed they would be here for the first event, they certainly are with 4 cars. So great to see them here. Paul de Resta, Daniel Juncker-Deyer, Ferdinand Habsburg and Jake Dennis, all forming the driver base for Aston Martin's assault on DTM for 2019. So short, sharp qualifying session, as you can see. We are already into 17 and a half minutes. Time goes very quickly. Rennie Rast for Audi Sport Team Rosberg. The team run, of course, by Arno Zenzen. Having a good chat with Arno at the DTM test days at the Lausitzring. Looking very, very confident and very happy with the way things had gone. He said, we'll not know everything, and of course, until we get to the first race weekend. So Rennie Rast then just feeling where the grip is or isn't, as you can see, sliding the car about. Weather conditions are horrible. It's continuing to drizzle down. This is Paul de Resta then in the Aston Martin Vantage. And he too weaving from side to side. All the cars shod on the wet weather tyres, of course, and we're expecting these weather conditions to be much the same during the course of the whole of today, with sort of showers. Pietro Fittipaldi then on his way around the Parabolica now, which is turn number 5, heading up towards the hairpin. Before we get some times up on the screen, and there you can see visibility is something of a challenge as well. Pietro Fittipaldi then into the hairpin now, take a very wide line around the hairpin. That's where the grip is offered and where you can carry the most momentum in the wet weather conditions. So Pietro Fittipaldi, and there is the Philipp Eng car. We're so hoping to see that out of the garage, and indeed it does make its way out of the garage. The BMW Team RMR driver Philipp Eng then, the Austrian, is out for qualifying, and we have merely 16 minutes of the qualifying session remaining. Absolutely extraordinary how quickly the time goes, and Philipp nurses the car out of the pit lane. Surely not another problem for Philipp Eng. Now the car looks to me like it's freewheeling. Oh no. I mean, Philipp Eng was beset with problems in free practice 2 yesterday, and it looks like the car has failed again right at this qualifying session. So Marco Wittmann, whilst we look at Philipp Eng, goes quickest with a 2-minute .618, followed by Bruno Spengler. But this is a disaster for Philipp Eng, and also the BMW Team RMR who run that car. They have worked furiously overnight to try and get that car, and now it's on the exit of the pit lane, as you can see, and appears at this stage to be going absolutely no further. Going quickest now is Sheldon van der Linde. The yellow flag being waved in turn number 1 for the stricken Philipp Eng car. There is the number 11 machine of Marco Wittmann, new livery for Marco Wittmann. René Rast goes quickest now with the first sub 2-minute time, a 1:58.453, although Van der Linde and Nico Müller have also come into the under 2-minute times as well. And the session has been red flagged then for that stuck Philipp Eng car. I spoke very briefly to Philipp Eng at dinner last night, and you could sense the sheer frustration and disappointment he had that it had no running in free practice 2. And you can see the engineers, they're almost metaphorically scratching their heads and just cannot understand. They've worked so hard to try and get this car sorted, and clearly all their efforts have been in vain. It's futile, because that car is going to have to be towed back to the garage now, and therefore is not going to get any running in qualifying. And therefore that means if they can get the car developed in time and changed, and the whatever faults they've got found, Philipp will be starting right from the back of the pack for this afternoon's race, no question. So Rast, Van der Linde, Müller, Robin Freins, Jamie Green, Marco Wittmann, Jonathan Aberdeen, Bruno Spengler, Joel Eriksson and Mike Rockenfeller are rounding out the top 10. Best of the Aston Martins is with Jake Dennis, as it was in free practice 2 yesterday, although he is down in P11 at the moment. So the clock has been stopped on the session as the Philipp Eng car is retrieved, and well, he will be just so bitterly disappointed inside that car. So they will get that car to safety, then we will get the session back on again, but it's very unlikely that there will be any running from Philipp Eng. In fact, it's impossible, because there you can see confirmation that the restart of this qualifying session will be at 10:40. So in 3 minutes and 3 seconds time from now, we will be back on again as the Philipp Eng car is brought back into the paddock area. Coming down the pit lane then is the number 11 car of Marco Wittmann. All the cars into the pit lane then following this session, which has been suspended, and will be restarting in 2.5 minutes time. At the head of the queue there is one of the Aston Martins. Behind the Aston Martin, ready to go straight back out again, is Marco Wittmann. And there are some very concerned engineers in the BMW team RMR. Rast, Van der Linde, Müller and Freins then, the top 4. Just referencing yesterday's free practice 2, Sheldon Van der Linde finished at P13. Weather conditions in free practice 2 yesterday significantly different to what we have now here in this qualifying session. So there, the Philipp Eng garage, which will be the focus of much work, but the car is not even going to be got back into the garage for some time yet. So that really does mean that he will be going from the very back of the pack. What a great shame. The number 23 car of Daniel Juncker-Deyer coming down the pit lane, followed by Nico Müller, and there the BMW teams in there on their pit perches. So to my knowledge, every car now is back in the pit lane, and we are 1.5 minutes away from the qualifying session starting. On board with René Rast then, you can hear the 2-litre turbo engine. And of course the push-to-pass is a new feature that the DTM cars have for 2019, the use of which is limited to 12 activations per race. Now in the last 5 laps or 7 minutes of the race, the system can be used regardless of the distance to the car in front. At all other times it's a maximum of 3 seconds. And it can be used in conjunction with DRS. However, in qualifying, the use of push-to-pass is prohibited. The Loic Duval car, another car with a brand new livery for this year. And Loic Duval in FP2 yesterday finished P9. And as you can see from the ticker on the left-hand side of your screen, is currently P12 for Loic Duval. There, the number 3 car of Paul Di Resta, champing at the bit, ready to get out and get this qualifying session properly underway. And when we do so, there will be just under 15 minutes of qualifying time remaining. Dr. Florian Kamelger there, the team principal of R Motorsport, on the pit wall. So the three drivers that have not set times or meaningful times yet, Timo Glock, Paul di Resta, and of course Philipp Eng, who didn't even make it out of the pit lane, regrettably. So we get the green light on and the session gets back going once again for qualifying for the setting of the grid for race number 1. The Nico Müller car number 51 then, is in the garage. As you can see, Nico Müller finished FP2, P5 yesterday. The Castrol Edge Audi RS5 DTM of
I keep you updated on the outlap. The bleed is in theory that we could also drive through.
Something about the brake bleed there. I think we were hearing.
Okay, we can go again.
So Nico Müller then being given the okay to go once again. Currently being held, as you can see, is Timo Glock in the garage. And the garage space alongside Timo Glock is empty, of course, awaiting the return of the Philipp Eng car. Won the Sunday race at the season opener in Hockenheim just last year, and of course was involved in that horrific and brilliant battle that we saw between himself and Gary Paffett, the eventual champion, and also Mike Rockenfeller. What a weekend that was of DTM, and if we can replicate that this weekend, and there's no reason why we cannot, then it will be another fantastic season opener here at Hockenheim this weekend for season 2019. Quickest car was René Rast before the session was suspended at 1:58.453. 94 races, 5 wins for Timo Glock, 14 podiums and 5 pole positions, and is absolutely loving his racing. As enthused as he always is, and he's making his way up towards the hairpin now on this 4.574 kilometre Hockenheim circuit. Turn number 6 then is the hairpin, and then you run down into the flat right-hander, which is turn number 7, and he's approaching that now, weaving gently from side to side as Paul di Resta is about to break the timing beam and go for a hot-ish lap. I say hot-ish because, of course, the weather conditions are not allowing the best possible performance from these all-new for 2019 DTM cars. So we're running the clock on Paul di Resta as he makes his way now into turn number 2. Snake down into turns 3. Then the right-hander is turn number 4, which takes him up onto the Parabolica. We have a yellow flag for the number 27 car of Jonathan Aberdeen, which has gone around. So Jonathan Aberdeen then making his way back to the tarmac. It looks like everything's okay at the front of the car. So we go back to green through that turn. And this is how it happened then in replay. Just losing the back end of the car, pirouetting around. Did he avoid the wall? No, he didn't. So there was an impact on the wall, and that will, of course, damage to the front of the Jonathan Aberdeen car. So that will compromise his qualifying performance in the time that we have left, which is just under 12 minutes. And you can see now, although the aero flick at the front has not been removed, Jonathan Aberdeen around the Parabolica now had set the 7th fastest time in running during this qualifying session, but really rather suspect that probably not going to eclipse that. Paul di Resta then, green in sector 1, purple in sector 2, but that's no surprise because this is his proper hot lap. So Paul di Resta looking good through the middle sector with this R Motorsport Aston Martin Vantage DTM car. And we watch him round the final turn now, turn number 16, the Sud Curva, and head towards the timing line. And Paul di Resta with a 1:55.025 goes to the top of the chart. Here comes Mike Rockenfeller on a hot lap as well. Another new livery that we've really got to get used to from Mike Rockenfeller then. Used to seeing him in the Schaeffler liveried car, but Akrapovic now carries the livery of the Mike Rockenfeller car as he crosses the timing line. Now goes from P12 to P1 with a 1:53.855, takes a minute and 0.3 out of the previous best time. René Rast now goes second fastest with a 1:54.797. At the moment, Mike Rockenfeller is the only driver in the 1:53s. So the order is Rockenfeller, Rast, then it's Wittmann, then it's di Resta, then it's Jake Dennis for Aston Martin, who is P5 with a 1:55.043. Marco Wittmann's on a hot lap now, as you can see. through sector 1. The indicator on the left-hand side of your screen at the bottom suggests that Marco Wittmann has gone quickest through sector 1. Mike Rockenfeller now goes quicker still through sector 1, and whilst all this is going on, Robin Freins has planted his car P2 with a 1:54.581. We're into the final 10 minutes of this qualifying session, and traditionally it's always right at the end of quali where the best times come. Wittmann now quicker than anyone through both sector 1 and sector 2. So Wittmann, the man to watch here, who is currently P4. Mike Rockenfeller is about to close out in sector 2. Does that, and he's quicker still in sector 2. Jake Dennis with PBs in sector 1 and sector 2. Green means personal best. Purple means better than anyone. So Marco Wittmann then, two-time DTM champion, heads towards the timing line. And from P4, Marco Wittmann vaults himself to P1 with a 1:52.389. Bruno Spengler is P4 as he crosses the timing line. Here comes Jake Dennis. He doesn't improve, but Mike Rockenfeller does with a 1:51.714. We are seeing big chunks of time come out. René Rast P2, 1:51.791. The only two drivers in the 151s are Mike Rockenfeller and René Rast, both Audi drivers. Best of the BMWs is René Rast. I beg your pardon, it's Marco Wittmann. René Rast is the second best of the Audi drivers. Best of the Aston Martins is Paul Di Resta, currently P10. Wittmann on another hot one now, as you can see, gone purple in sector 1. Mike Rockenfeller's got a chase on as well. Just passing the 47 car of Joel Eriksson, and Mike Rockenfeller runs really wide, and that compromises potentially this lap for Mike Rockenfeller, as you can see. It's ruined sector 1. So the one that's on a quick lap here is Marco Wittmann. And we pick up the Marco Wittmann car as he goes faster than anyone through sector 2 as well. His cumulative time is 4/10ths down on previous best. Now Marco Wittmann has been relegated to P4 due to the speed of Rocky and Rast and Robin Freins. But all of a sudden, BMW really liking these conditions, and Marco Wittmann getting the very best out of them. You can see the spray coming off the car as he rounds the Sud Curva and heads towards the timing screen with 7 minutes remaining. Marco Wittmann goes P1 with a 1:50.457, a huge 1.2 second margin that is taken out of Mike Rockenfeller's previous best time. Rocky finishes his lap as he crosses the timing line now. That lap bailed, that lap no good to him at all. He went wide at the hairpin. So Rocky then will be on another hot one now. But again, Marco Wittmann has improved through sector 1. You can see just how hard Mike Rockenfeller is pushing in these supremely challenging conditions. And we have 6.5 minutes of this qualifying session remaining only. So the order is BMW, then it's Audi, 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 Aston Martin. So all three brands in the top 5 places. This is Sheldon van der Linde that we run the clock on now as we cross back to Marco Wittmann. He's going to round out sector 2. And let's see if he does another PB in sector 2. If that's the case, another better than anyone in sector 2 as he gets the back end of the car out. He crosses the line now. Yes, he does. And again, he's taken another 4/10ths. So this could be another blistering lap from Marco Wittmann then. So the number 11 car, the BMW Team RMG machine of two-time DTM champion Marco Wittmann. He has just a couple of turns to do. Turn 15 he's in now. Exits turn 15, heads towards the Sud Curva. Giving it absolutely everything he can. It was a 1:50.457. It's now a 1:49.693. 7/10ths taken out previous best. Mike Rockenfeller is also on a hot one. This is Bruno Spengler crossing the timing line now. He's gone 6th fastest. And now it's Mike Rockenfeller that does it, taking 4 tenths, nearly 5 tenths, out of Marco Wittmann's previous best. So a 1:49.209 now. Into the final 5 minutes. It's Rocky, Wittmann, and then in P3, the number 31 car of Sheldon van der Linde, the rookie, is 3rd fastest. Audi, BMW, BMW, Audi, Audi. Then the best of the Aston Martins is Jake Dennis, who is currently 6th fastest. Wow, in really challenging conditions, this has been a supreme qualifying session in terms of the drama. Mike Rockenfeller and Jake Dennis here, both vying for the best possible time that they can get. Rocky's Sector 1 was poor. Marco Wittmann's Sector 1 was again brilliant, quicker than anyone. However, his middle sector not so good, so this is not going to be a new record-breaking time from Marco Wittmann in terms of this qualifying session. Tensions mount, nerves are huge. Here comes Jake Dennis then. Done a PB in Sector 1 and Sector 2. He's significantly down relative to the fastest lap of 1:49.209 thus far. As Marco Wittmann then. Now his middle sector was not brilliant. Has he brought it all back together in the 3rd sector? Well, it's not an improvement. So at the moment, Marco Wittmann stays P2. Here comes Bruno Spengler again. His middle sector let him down. The one to keep an eye on here potentially is René Rast. As you can see, he's done a purple Sector 2, a green Sector 1. So PB in Sector 1, faster than anyone in Sector 2. Where can René Rast be as he heads towards the timing line now? And it's a 1:49.510, which is enough for 2nd fastest, but it's still some 3 tenths down on Mike Rockenfeller. So, Rocky, Rast, Wittmann, Jake Dennis, P4, Joel Eriksson, P5, Sheldon van der Linde, P6. Here's Jamie Green, currently down there in P12, and now Loic Duval goes 4th fastest with a 1:51.197. So no one at the moment troubling Mike Rockenfeller's 1:49.209 with just 2.5 minutes remaining. Here comes Rocky now. His Sector 1 was a personal best if he can really deliver in Sector 2 and Sector 3. But again, he runs very wide at the hairpin, carrying too much speed into the hairpin. René Rast now right behind him, and also behind them is Pietro Fittipaldi. Pietro Fittipaldi driving for the WRT team. So Rocky, Rast, Wittmann, Robin Freins, Paul de Resta is now the quickest of the Aston Martins in P5. So here comes Wittmann then. And he does improve. The final sector did it for him. It's a 1:48.999. The first car into the 1:48 by 1/1000th. Jake Dennis looking quicker again, as well as he does PBs in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Bruno Spengler this lap is not going to be brilliant, but he does have time for one more. Here comes Jake Dennis. From P7, he doesn't improve. The final sector for Jake Dennis was not startling. Joel Eriksson is P6. And here comes Mike Rockenfeller. That's not going to trouble the new provisional pole sitting time of Marco Wittmann. And incidentally, Marco Wittmann has now gone purple in Sector 1. So Wittmann could be is going even quicker. If he can nail every sector, he could even better the 1:48.999 that we've got. So Marco Wittmann, cool, calm, collected throughout this qualifying session. Jake Dennis, PB, Sector 1. Rocky the same. Robin Freins in both Sector 1 and Sector 2. Robin Freins currently 5th fastest. Marco Wittmann, a man on a mission. Oh, the back end of the car just lets go. It is quicker than anyone through Sector 1 and Sector 2. He just needs to nail this final sector. So here comes Robin Freins. He improves to P4. And here comes Marco Wittmann. So the back end of the car just lets up. I don't think he's going to get another lap in. No, he's not. So this is it from Marco Wittmann. A 1:48.215 takes 7 tenths, nearly 8 tenths out of his previous best time. Is that the new pole position? Mike Rockenfeller doing everything he can to see against that. He's done PB in Sector 1. Quicker than anyone through Sector 2. If this final sector is absolutely blistering from Mike Rockenfeller. At the moment, a front row start is assured, but is it going to be P1 for Mike Rockenfeller? We await him as he rounds the final turn. Into shot he comes. So Mike Rockenfeller stays P2. A 1:48.281, so just 6 100ths down on Marco Wittmann. So it looks like we have a BMW on pole, an Audi alongside. The best of the Aston Martins is going to be with Jake Dennis. Wow, what a quali session. Paul di Resta, though, may have something to say. He is sixth fastest and is, as you can see, still PB through Sector 1 and Sector 2. The session is effectively over, so we watch Paul di Resta then as he rounds the Sud Curva. Oh, and the back end really lets go. That will have cost him valuable time. But he goes third fastest. Like a viper there, Paul di Resta, quietly going about his business, puts the car third fastest, so becomes the best of the R Motorsport Aston Martins. They will be delighted with that performance. To be fair, I think the weather conditions have helped them. Dr. Florian Kamelger there, absolutely thrilled. Wow, and all the engineers are delighted as well. To have two of the all-new Aston Martins in the top 6 of qualifying for race number 1 here at Hockenheim is a huge achievement. But let's take nothing away from this man. A 1:48.215 for Marco Wittmann. He is P1. Then it's Mike Rockenfeller P2. Paul di Resta P3. René Rast P4. We'll, of course, bring you the full results of qualifying in just a few moments' time. Wow, what a qualifying session that was. Really, look at the delight there in the team of RMG for Marco Wittmann. So, car parked up in that P1 position, quite rightly. So, in terms of the script for the book, from qualifying, it couldn't really be any better. BMW P1, Audi P2, Aston Martin P3. All 3 brands of the DTM lining up. Fantastic stuff. Well, Marco Wittmann is very, very pleased with that. It was a chase towards the end of the qualifying session between himself and Mike Rockenfeller, but here, confirmation that Marco Wittmann has done it with that 1:48.215. Then it's Mike Rockenfeller, then it is Paul di Resta. So BMW, Audi, Aston Martin. Then René Rast, Robin Freins, Jake Dennis, Sheldon van der Linde, Timo Glock, Joel Eriksson, ahead of Nico Muller, Danny Juncker-Dea, Loic Duval, Jamie Green, Bruno Spengler, Pietro Fittipaldi, Jonathan Aberdeen and Ferdinand Habsburg. Philip Eng regrettably did not set a time at all, which is a great shame, so he will be very, very sad about that, but hopefully they can work on the car and get it back out again. But oh, the drama in qualifying, if it's anything like the race is going to be, I'm so looking forward. Verena.
Oh, what an exciting first qualifying that was, that's for sure. And I'm really looking forward to the race. But what a qualifying. We've got Marco Wittmann in pole position and then followed by 2 Audis. So the race really is going to be very, very exciting. And we're looking forward to seeing you there as well. But now here are the highlights of the qualifying. Enjoy and see you later.
wieder Tankliste nicht so weit geht, der Hinweis wollte